Hi, I'm in the kitchen. My name is Juanita. I am going to be making a vegetarian dish today, and it is a cottage cheese loaf. I have preheated the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So I have all of my ingredients here on the counter and ready to go. So let's start with the first main ingredient, and that is a 16-ounce package of cottage cheese. You can use large curd or small curd. It just depends on which you prefer. I am using small curd cottage cheese. And it takes a 16-ounce container. I now have 1.5 cups of breadcrumbs. You can use Italian mix variety, or you could just use plain if you prefer. Mix that all together. The breadcrumbs are going to act to hold your loaf together a little bit. The next ingredient that I'm going to put in, I am going to put in 4 large eggs. And these are also binders in the recipe as well. If you didn't want to use the yolks, which the yolks are high in cholesterol, you could just use 2 egg whites for each of the eggs. So you would end up using a total of 8 egg whites in your recipe. So we're going to blend that all together. If you don't use enough eggs in the recipe, you're going to end up with a product that falls apart once it's baked. Have a 1/2 cup of chopped onions. And what I use is the pre-chopped onions that are in the frozen section, and that just saves me time. You can choose to chop fresh onion. I have 1 clove of garlic that I'm going to put in. That just adds a nice flavorful taste to things. And it does call for walnuts, or you could use some other kind of nuts if you choose, or even just leave the walnuts out if you prefer. So I use a handy little gadget to chop the nuts, which is very, very quick work instead of putting these in the blender. Mix those nuts in. Just mixing it well within the mixture. The last ingredient is a chicken seasoning, and I happen to be vegetarian, so I'm using what's called McKay's chicken seasoning. Mix that in. You could choose to put fresh herbs, spices, or any kind of herbs and spices that you prefer in here. Parsley, oregano, sage, thyme. instead of using the chicken seasoning. Now, the chicken seasoning does have salt in it, so I'm not going to add any salt to this loaf. I've already sprayed my pan. Smooth it out so that it's even in the pan. Don't need to really press down, just making sure you're filling in gaps here. And I'm ready to put this in the oven and bake it for about 60 minutes to 70 minutes. Loaf right out of the oven. You do want to let the cottage cheese loaf cool or rest for about 5 to 10 minutes before you even attempt to cut this or to take it out of the pan. That way it is basically going to shrink a little bit, and also it will not fall apart on you. So that's a cottage cheese loaf, and I hope you enjoy it.